This is Pat Soundbytes Unplugged. Unplugged, the podcast where all the artists go to tell it as it is. Careers, music, tours, and more. And here's your host, the man that refuses to eat squid, Pat Calamari.
Yes, I am Pat Calamari, host of Pat Soundbytes Unplugged. Hopefully you are doing well. Thank you for continuing to support me on this great worldwide music podcast. Over 81,000 downloads worldwide. Can't thank you guys enough. Keeping new music alive on the radio is what I do on the Pat Show on WBXO every Sunday from 5 to 8 Eastern Standard Time. Also on video on Pat Soundbytes IGTV on Instagram. Doing a lot of great Zoom chats. A lot of fun with that. On Twitter, on Facebook, of course, on YouTube. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and follow the podcast on all the major podcast hosting sites. Apple, iHeart, Pandora, Spotify, Deezer, Simplecast. You know the deal. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I also still have my Patreon page. You could be a fan club member. You can get early access of what my schedule is and who my upcoming artists that I'm interviewing. And maybe I'll take a question from you to ask the artist on behalf of you. How cool would that be? Do a couple of shout outs. And also I am obtaining a lot of exclusive content from the artists, whether it's by phone or video, just for my Patreon followers. So please, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for joining. I will try to do my best to give you as much content as possible. Hey, today episode number 74 is a great one. Great rock legend, great rock hall of famer. Undoubtedly the most recognized voice in progressive rock for over 50 years. He is still going strong, maybe better than ever. There's only one, Mr. Jon Anderson. I got to speak with Jon. I called him in his home in California. He was in his studio downstairs, I would imagine. He's working on projects, working on Chapter 2. 1,000 Hands Chapter 1 is now going to be re-released starting July 31st. So, as promised, there will be a Chapter 2. And he's finishing that up. And hopefully, as he says, it should be out next summer. And he wants to get back on tour. And we talked about songwriting. We had a very good conversation, as I had in the past with Jon. So, all really good stuff. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you share it. And please be safe out there. Oh, and if you haven't, buy his album, 1,000 Hands Chapter 1. You will love it. Okay, live, love, and laugh a lot, because life is way too short. Without further ado, here's Mr. Jon Anderson. WBXO Classic Rock Redefined, an honor to have again this amazing rock legend, Rock Hall of Famer, an incredible songwriter, undoubtedly one of the most recognized voices in progressive rock, as the lead vocalist and creative force behind the amazing band. Yes, and I'm talking Mr. Jon Anderson. How are you, Jon?
I'm beauty. How you all doing there? Okay, yo?
We're doing well here in New York. How are you and Jane? How are you handling this lockdown, this virus, and interesting times we're going through in the country now?
Well, I just got on with my work, and I've finished a large-scale piece of music demo, only a demo, but it's 4 20-minute pieces of music, and it's just taken over my life completely, and it'll be finished next year.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, we're looking forward to that. That's my theme, keeping new music alive on the radio. So I'm looking forward to it so I can play that, as well as I continue to play tracks from 1,000 Hands. I want to say that Jon has a new partnership with Blue Alliance Record, will be re-releasing the most recent solo album titled 1,000 Hands Chapter 1. And the album comes out on July 31st and will be offered on deluxe double gatefold vinyl CD and is available through all the digital platforms. So Jon, this is exciting news.
Yeah, I enjoyed making the album. The album took 30 years to finish. So I just did the first batch of songs in near LA in Big Bear in the mountains. And I got Chris Squire and Alan Wright to play on it. And I kept thinking, if I can get everybody that I really like to play on this album, it would make my life complete. And that's what happened.
Well, you got some lineup, an all-star, incredible lineup that a guest artist, Alan White, the late Chris Squire, as you mentioned, Jean-Luc Ponte, Ian Anderson, Carmine Appice, Steve Howe, and there's many, many others. And I believe when last time we talked, the title of the album, 1,000 Hands, was your way of giving homage to all these magnificent musicians who contributed their time and efforts.
Yeah, I think it was more 1,000 people that I know, sort of 500 that I know, changed my life. Thinking about Nina Simone and Graham Nash and Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, all these characters in my life, Vangelis and everything like that. They changed my musical appreciation and made me into who I am today. So I'm so grateful for all the people that I've met during the course of my career.
I know you went on tour after we talked to support the album. When it got all said and done, Jon, do you evaluate the tour? Did the album, did the tour meet your goals and expectations, if you had any set forth?
Yeah, because I was lucky to get some great musicians from Orlando. That's where the studio was. We mixed the album there. Michael Franklin produced it. So we knew all these musicians, and he was the one that found Billy Cobham, who I love, and Chick Corea, one of the great piano players, jazz players. And then he put together a group of musicians, there was 8 of them, and it gave me the chance to do what I've always wanted to do, is to expand production a little bit on stage. So I was able to add some brass sounds, violin sounds, orchestral sounds to classic Yes stuff, plus rearrange some of the music from 1,000 Hands. So the tour actually went really, really well, and unfortunately we have to stop touring because of what's going on in the world. But next year we're going to pick it up again and take it out around the world, the band. And life is good. Life is getting better each day.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see you back on the road with your band and the new album, and I'm sure you're going to have an incredible set list. I've been playing Ramalama, I've been playing Makes Me Happy, and a half of other tracks from the album with all great feedback, and your fans continue to support and love you. Having over 50 successful years in the music business, Jon, what is the best part about making music?
I think it's this everyday feeling of waking up and going in my studio. I've been here this morning mixing a piece of music which is 18 minutes long, making sure it sings better, because I want to add orchestra and chorale choir to the project over the next 6 months. So I'm always thinking ahead of time and what I'll be doing next year, the year after. I've been asked to do some production of like a Roger Dean project with a dome company. We're doing a gigantic dome where we can do surround sound and Roger Dean visuals, and I will perform with all these musicians. I'll perform some classic Yes music that I love. And things like that just keep me going, you think?
Well, that is awesome, and that is great to hear. Jon, how important is the artwork on the album covers? And I'm talking going back to Fragile and Close to the Edge and going. Is the goal of the cover to reflect your music and sound and help tell the story and theme of the record?
Well, album covers really kicked in the 60s, obviously with the Beatles album covers and Harmony, The Who, things like that. That's when the beginning of the 70s, album covers were sort of part and parcel of the music. So I always think that the artwork should really relate to the music in some way, because people like to listen to the music but look at something, and now we have a lot of videos of we have a video for every song on the 1,000 Times album, so people can actually go to YouTube and see all the songs, visualization of them. They're really fantastic.
I totally agree. You have co-authored some of the great classic hits, Roundabout, I've Seen All Good People, Owner of a Lonely Heart. What are the ingredients, Jon, to make a classic hit? What's the secret? I mean, obviously you have to have the right chemistry, the right musicians in the studio. What's the secret? How does that go about? Besides getting great radio airplay and fans loving it.
Well, I've got no idea how to make a hit record, that's for sure. But I know that sometimes you put out a song, and in the old days, the record company put money behind it, paid DJs to play the record, and that whole idea of making a hit was 30, 40 years of it. Now, you don't do that. Now, you have the internet to be able to connect you with your fans, and, we put things out on the internet, and that's why there's a lot of great young musicians now able to survive without record companies. They can put the music out there on the internet and charge nominal amounts to keep their business going, which is great. But the young musicians of today are in a totally different world than when I started in the 60s and 70s. Unbelievable change in how to project your music around the world.
Right. And I want to ask you, with today's technology, folks, it could be a band member in the UK, somebody in California, somebody in Florida, and the musicians are sending WAV files back and forth, and I understand that. I mean, take away this lockdown. But isn't it more important? I'm not a musician, but I see the importance of everybody in the studio together like you did back in the day, because I would be afraid you would miss some of the magic if Chris said, hey, add this, or Steve said, what about that? Is that quite true when it comes to recording?
Yeah, because, in the old days, you'd be in a room together. But now we're still on the same planet. So if you're working with, I got an email yesterday from the great piano player. I've got to find it now. And I just sang with his beautiful piano. It was fantastic. And, every day somebody sends new music. And kind of wake up, know that, people everywhere have got a computer, they can send you music, you can send music to each other. You don't have to be in the same room to make good music, but it's just different these days,
Boy, that's for sure. Hey, we got to talk about your great voice holding up after all these years. What preventive measures do you take, Jon, to take care of the longevity of certainly your main instrument, your wonderful voice? Do you take any measures before a tour or before you get into the studio?
No, not really. I just wake up with a positive energy, and I'm just trying to remember who sent the music. Piano player. Yeah, I wake up every morning, I want to sing, so nothing wrong in that. And my voice is, it's been through different times when I've been not strong in my voice, but this past 10 years, I've never felt better than ever as a singer. And as I say, every morning I go in the studio, I sing all sorts of things.
Wow, excellent. Hey, getting back to your songwriting and your incredible lyrics with so many of your wonderful tunes, especially in the Yes days, any consideration of writing a book detailing the Yes years of what's the meaning behind some of the songs and the lyrics?
Well, actually, I was going to do that, and then people started to email back and say, Yeah, but we like to make up our understanding of some of the lyrics. You don't need to explain everything. I actually put a few things out on my Facebook, but people were saying, oh, this is really lovely, but I like my own version of what that lyric was about. So I decided not to do it anymore.
So you pretty much leave it up to the interpretation of the listener.
Yeah, why not, you know?
No, that works.
Paul McCartney starts rapping about Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and we all know it was about acid, so shut up.
What's left on your bucket list, my friend? I mean, writing a score for a Broadway show, maybe a music soundtrack. I know, like you said, you're working, you're getting emails all the time. Anything that you say, man, I really want to do this, and you just haven't gotten to it yet?
Well, there's only a dozen things that I want to do. But, you know, it's like everything, you know, you just got to wait until the time is correct. And, you know, I'm always very interested in, you know, breaking the barriers and having an adventure in music and not really trying to make a record that's going to be heard on the radio or anything like that. You just make music for the adventure. I think that's basically what I think about most.
Is music our spiritual connection to the soul, Jon?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Oh, for sure. You know, music, I was just thinking about that. What I was thinking about, I'm just trying to remember what I said. Hold on. I was thinking about the medicine of sound. It's kind of cool.
Nice. Well, I guess my next question, and I think I know the answer, is, has your spirituality evolved over the years?
Sorry?
Has your spirituality evolved over the years?
Yeah, I think I put something on my website the other day saying what I remembered way back was I read this book, and it was by this lady. She said, you know, we're all Christ consciousness, you know? And Buddha was a Christ, and Jesus was a Christ, and Krishna was a Christ, and Muhammad was a Christ. And I started to believe in that, and actually realized that all the religions say the same thing about love is everything. Love thy neighbor, and you get that in the Buddha preaching, and so everybody's the same energy. It's kind of funny that we're all connected to Christ consciousness, so I believe in all of the beautiful religions, that's for sure. Oh, the guy was Bruce Hornsby who played the piano.
Okay. Well, I agree with that. And this album, 1,000 Hands, Chapter 1, the tracks are so very uplifting, very loving, much positive energy, covering many different sounds and voice overlays. I hear tropical, I hear reggae, I hear some jazz. I mean, obviously I get the theme of love and happiness. Would you say I'm on the right track?
Oh, yeah. That's my modus operandi, which I think is important. For that's where my energy is from the higher energy of life, and we're all surrounded by the same energy. It's not that I'm different. We're all the same. There was something I was singing again yesterday was, we are everyone. So you are everyone, you know? You are everyone. So we're all one in this consciousness of this planet. And once we realize that, then we'll have a bit more harmony and less of the greed and the corruption, the typicized politicians everywhere in the world, not just in America. And it's an interesting time. You know, we're going through this very, very, very tough time for thousands and millions of people. You know, if you realize 100,000 people die, that means 1 million people, you know, go through the sadness of losing someone. And I always say, well, you lose your loved ones, and that happens in this life, but you never lose them in your state of spiritual consciousness, because they're always with you, no matter what. You never lose your loved ones. But all these people going through such a tough time with the virus, and I was dreaming, sending my hugs and blessings to everybody who's losing someone. But remember, never lose your loved ones. So it's very hard, and I know it's very, very difficult for lots and lots of people. So there shouldn't be any politics involved in all this, but sometimes there is. There shouldn't be. It's all to do with love and honoring life and loving Mother Earth. And really, there's a quote that I wrote the other day. It's save ourselves by saving Mother Earth.
I love it. Well, you're absolutely right. We need more love, more kindness. We're all the same. We're on a little vacation that we've been given this gift on this beautiful earth and this beautiful planet. And when it's time to go, it's time to go. And you're absolutely right. I lost my parents many years ago, but I know they're with me every step of the way and every day. So I believe in that, and it gets me going every day. It keeps me positive and full of love and energy.
It's true. It's true. The goodness that actually in the nature world, it's incredible what we're surrounded by, and we keep forgetting. We don't really sit and, well, I know a lot of us do, but not a lot of people get time to listen to birds singing and enjoy rabbits running around, and that's what happens in our life. We live in the country, so we get the chance to enjoy the real true nature that surrounds us. And, the birds are here to sing to us all the day long. And it's so beautiful.
Absolutely. I love going outside. I love hiking and taking walks and listen to the birds and listen to the breeze and watch the trees and watch the clouds and listen to the ocean waves. I mean, there's nothing better than that. Well, Jon, I certainly thank you for your time. I'm going to keep on playing your great tracks here off of 1,000 Hands Chapter 1. Obviously, there'll be a Chapter 2. You're working hard. Another album coming out next year. Any thoughts of a title? Anything else you can share with us? Any other projects?
Yeah, as I said, this Chapter 2, we're sort of nearly 2/3 way through the songs, and that'll come out next summer. And then this big project I'm working on is going to come out next year on such a level. Not quite sure how people are going to be able to see it, but I hope to take it to every opera house in the world.
Wow.
I've always dreamed of doing that because opera houses are so incredibly beautiful. And I'd love to sing with a choir and orchestra all around the world in every opera house.
Well, there you go. There's something on and I bet you the sound, the acoustics got to be perfect.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Beautiful, beautiful.
Well, we're looking... Certainly look forward to that, Jon. That's great. I'm happy that you shared that with me. Well, the album is called 1,000 Hands Chapter 1. It's officially re-released on July 31st. If you didn't buy it before, you need to buy it again. And Jon, I wish you and Jane and your family much great health and love, and stay safe, my friend. And we can't wait to see you on the road again.
Thank you so much. You take care. Love to everybody hearing this. Take care.